Hello, this is Zeeebo and welcome back to yet another AFK journey video. So welcome back to the final season store guide for the Waves of Intrigue season. And I call it the final because Lenya as well as Lily and our dear Mikola, they are the last few characters from the Song of Strife season. So from the Soulstone side of things, I don't think they'll be adding any more new characters. And for those of you guys on the global server side wondering why doesn't my Soulstone store look like that, it's because this is currently on the test server. So this patch will drop in 4 to 5 days time. So you guys can prepare your tokens, don't overspend it, and prepare for all these upcoming characters to come. And in today's video, we're going to run through this final version of the season store guide, talking about the different units, the priority, what's their main tier you want to upgrade them to, and the different caveats you want to look out for. So starting off with the resource store side, for the currencies itself, Dream Realm Fragment as well as Arena Coin, my advice is always skip them. They're not the highest priority because you get them naturally from the game itself. You did rather spend all these tokens on stuff which you have tougher access to rather than getting all these resources that you get naturally by playing the game on a day-to-day basis. The only time you will spend your tokens on all these in-game currencies will be when you have an excess of token, but the excess of token is not enough to buy the characters down there. So that's where you can actually try to use it on the Dream Realm side. But one thing I cannot confirm, whether or not this token will be resetted in the next season, right? So if it doesn't reset, it means that you'll be carried over into the Waves of Intrigue season store next season, maybe, and then that's where you will be able to use the token to buy the next batch of stuff. Then you don't actually have to spend all your resources, you can just save it up and then carry over to the next season store. So that is tip number one, right? Try to avoid this. The only time you want to spend on them is if the token will expire and you have an excess and you can't buy anything else, you spend it on this one, okay? But other than that, skip, because you get them on a day-to-day basis. Better off putting them on characters that will give you actual power-ups. Now for this one, Abyssal Essence, this is for the whale giga spenders that have no issues pulling. Like for myself, I'm actually going for Abyssal Essence because I do have the resources to get my units up to Supreme Plus pretty easily. So I'm not afraid of not having Supreme Plus characters for all these characters. In fact, I have Supreme Plus for most of them, except for maybe Soren, because Soren's useless. But so for me, right, like in terms of the next thing I'm looking at is Paragon tier. So I have most of the good units that are worthy of Paragon tier up. So I don't think I need to buy them on the main account. So my primary goal is Abyssal Essence from this store, because this minor upgrade will be like sometimes the difference between winning certain matches at the highest level. But for most normal players, free-to-play players, low resource players, the boost will not be massive for your account because you won't have that much temporal essence. You also won't have that many characters that are EX20 to get the EX weapon to 25 with this stone anyway. So that's why this one will be more for the whales and more for the heavy spenders with the ability to actually get their characters up easily. If not, most of these tokens should be going into all these soulstones here. Now let me break down the tier priority and strengths of the character into 3 different groups. So number 1, right, don't bother, right? This is the character that doesn't see use, really weak. See some users by some people, but I think like you did rather have other characters in that slot in most cases, and this character is none other than Soren, unfortunately. So I know that there are a few viewers out there like Starlord that is a big fan of Soren, but unfortunately I think in most cases Soren is still relatively underpowered. Don't actually see that much use across the different game modes. So I as a normal player's perspective won't recommend Soren for people who are looking for good units. So this is a character that you definitely don't want to go for. The next group of units, they will be units which are generally okay, but they have niche users. They are not the meta characters. So we have Lenya, we have Ludovic as well as Elsa. So the last group will be the meta characters, mostly seeing use everywhere, Lily, Mikola as well as Almer. And I'll talk about the meta character and what tier you want them to be at first, okay? So for Lily May's case, this character, I think you guys probably know her. She's pretty much everywhere. So she will be the highest priority to get to Supreme Plus because she needs the stats to carry, right? She needs the stats to survive and do damage, and this is a character that can carry you in a lot of different game modes, be it Dream Realm, be it PvP, be it PvE, be it Battle Drill, basically everything. So this is a character that you want to get to Supreme Plus first. If you are new to the game, you don't have her built up to Supreme Plus, this will be the highest priority. Now, whether or not you want to push her to Paragon tier will be dependent on your account. In a sense, if you're somebody like me, right, that has the ability to get most of these characters to Supreme Plus, and then you want to have a jump in terms of your PvP rating in your district itself, then getting Lenya to Paragon tier is actually pretty decent because she has the ability to carry you by her own. So getting her up to the higher tier will give you that PvP advantage from the Paragon tier side of things. So that is for those of you guys who are considering getting Lenya beyond Supreme Plus. Now, for Mikola's case, Mikola is one of those characters that you just need enough stats for her to survive, to use her in different game modes. Usually it will be legendary plus, because Mikola's main use in the team itself. So I'll run through my own account right here to show you guys. So this is a free to play account. So for Mikola's case, right, she functions really well just at the base copy because she has the buff on her first skill and the second skill and her heal on the third skill. So at the heal focus part, she gains a little bit more attack, which increases her heal and her damage from the EX weapon skill. So in terms of the tier priority for Mikola, she works at 1-2 copy decently well as long as she can survive. So the caveat is she needs to survive, right? If she can't survive, she can't cast her ultimate, she can't cast her heal, and then that's where she will be less useless. So Mikola, you just upgrade her to a sufficient tier to survive, and then that's good enough. Then legendary is where she gets a little bit more damage so that her heal potential is upgraded. And then mythic plus EX weapon over here is the damage boosting part. So if you're min-maxing on your damage for the Dream Realm side of things, this is something that you can upgrade to, right? Whether or not you want to upgrade to Supreme Plus, I think is subjective. This one makes her Courage Sphere permanent. In certain situations, it will be quite useful, such as PvP and certain, I'll say like AFK stages where the minions will be able to shut down her ultimate after her first cast. So as long as you hold on to the arena, you don't have to cast the ultimate again. So that's why Supreme Plus, I think, is relatively subjective. But in most cases, Mikola's more than sufficient at just Mythic Plus with this additional damage boost to min-max your damage. Even at just 1 or 2 copies, she's also usable, so do take note. So Mikola's one of those units that's good, but also good even at the lower tier itself. So if you don't have her, at least get 1 copy of her, and then you can maybe dump all the other coins into Lenya to get her to Supreme Plus. Now for the last character, Almer over here, I've talked about Almer multiple times, and I'm actually a big fan of Almer because Almer has always been a combo piece character for that chain stun, for that extended route from the EX weapon, for that shielding to protect your ally, and then additional control from the enhanced for Supreme Plus skill over here. So for Almer's case, I actually have my Almer at Supreme because I do intend to upgrade him to Supreme Plus for pushing purposes, because this ability actually gives you that additional control. The knockback synergizes with his own Prowling Roots ability, and knockback basically causes the enemy to not be able to do stuff for that duration of knockback. So this is where you chain your control, and then that's where you will be able to sort of see this opponent being locked down side where they just get put, rooted, and then controlled, rooted, frozen, and then they just get locked in place. So that's one of the reasons why I really like Almer's. And personally, if you're talking about somebody who doesn't care too much about what I mentioned, like at least not on the AFK stage side of things, or you think that, you know, Almer is good enough with just a Prowling Roots ability, then this character at Mythic Plus would be more than sufficient. He's a combo piece character that mainly functions off comboing with other characters with this ability, through this ability. Units like Tamasia, units like Iron, units like Almer's, basically units that can trigger all these pointers over here, they are gonna combo with Almer's pretty well. So in the future, if there are units which are able to do the same thing like I mentioned here, right, throw into the air, pull your opponent together, displace them, knock them down, then Almer's will be a unit you can combo with those characters. So that's why I think moving forward, Almer's will still definitely see use, because control has always been a thing, and thinking about team synergies and combos has always been a theme in terms of team building for AFK Journey itself. So I think this character is also decent in terms of priority. But out of the 3 of them, I think top tier priority, Lenya, right, Supreme Plus, Mikola, sufficient tier to be used for your Dream Realm purposes based on your district, and then Almer's. So these 3, they are the top priority. Now moving to the niche but usable character, we have Ludovic, Elsa, and Lenya. So out of these 3, Lenya is the lowest priority because Lenya has sort of fallen off on the Dream Realm side, because for the Endless boss, both magical damage and physical damage has fallen off as usual. So if you are looking at her from the Endless point of view, which is the remaining 1.5 months of the season, Lenya is probably only going to be seeing used more on the PvP side. Certain AFK stages, if she's built up, she's also usable. Certain stages where you need to use your physical damage, right? She's one of the best physical damage dealers right now, other than Sinbad and maybe Shakir. Maybe... Okay, Corinne's technically a physical damage dealer as well, but I'll classify Corinne and Lily Merrily more as a true damage side. But if you're talking about physical damage side, Lenya is probably one of the stronger one right now in terms of physical damage. So those are the niche cases you will be seeing users for Lenya. So other than just being good for the game mode, obviously Lenya is one of the hottest character in the game. So if you have that kind of a preference, then this is a character that you can invest in anyway. So that is Lenya, lowest priority. Useful in mostly, I'll say, PvP, in sniping carry roles or sniping the main damage source from your opponent's team. Now for Elsa's case, right now Elsa's used in Olsen for the Endless Boss for the ultimate spam to remove the Fury stack. Also used with all the control teams in general to do massive AoE damage. So Iron Almer's Elsa, you guys heard me say this before. So this is a character which scales pretty well if you get her to Supreme Plus, and she is able to weave in and out of the meta every once in a while. Like you see Elsa being used in like different teams in like certain situations, right? So like she's not like a day-to-day useful kind of character, but she has always been this character that comes in and out of the meta. So out of the three right now, I think she will be either second or first depending on how you look at it. The reason why I say depends on how you look at it is because the next character, Ludovic, is also a character that weaves in and out of the meta. So the reason why he weaves in and out of the meta is because Ludovic is the only Graveborn support that is decent. So he's also the Graveborn support that can do quite a bit of damage. So let's go through his kit. So his kit, first skill is heal, massive support skill. Second skill is damage, right? So this damage is a HP percentage damage, which is really good against a lot of the endless Dreamyon bosses. So if your district is competitive enough, if your district has players that are massive enough, Ludovic right now is in, I'll say, 2 or 3 of the meta teams in terms of damage dealing. So that's why this character will always weave in and out once in a while because of the HP percentage damage that he deals, and also the additional damage that he deals from Ephemeral Berry right here. So he's a very good healer. You have faced him in PvE stages before. He heals a lot and then you're just stuck on the stage itself because his job, right, he's not a buff heal job. His job is a heal and damage job. So he does it really well, and that's why this character weaves in and out. So if you already have like some of the top tier supports like I do right here, for example, like I have Smokey, I have Coco, I have Damien, I have Mikola. So you have all these good supports built up, then Ludovic's priority will probably drop a little bit. But if you're considering having like the best scores for your Dreamyon side of things, and you're considering building certain teams which requires a very powerful support, then Ludovic's priority might be higher than Elsa. So that's why I say it depends on how you look at things in terms of the units. But I'll group Elsa, Ludovic and Lenya on the, like, yeah, you can go for them, but they are the more niche side, and Lenya will be the priority. In fact, I'll put Lenya slightly closer to Soren, but I still see Lenya being used on the PvP side. But it's just a character which is really niche right now, that's all. So that is with regards to the Soulstone guide. So with regards to the priority, let me just refresh once again. Lily May, S+ minimally. Mikola, as long as she has enough stats to survive, second highest priority. And then we have Almer's minimally Mythic Plus to work. Right, for Elsa's case, I think you need her at Supreme Plus for her to work. For Ludovic's case, same thing, Lenya as well. And then Soren, just keep him. Like, you have so many other units to invest in. So that is my advice for the Soulstone store itself. That's it for this video. Thank you very much for tuning in. Do remember to like, subscribe to see more. See you guys again in my next video. Bye guys.